Welcome again by DYKO Reviews. It's been a while since I did a game review, so I guess it would be time to do another one. And today I'm going to discuss another light gun game. Specifically a game from Taito, and it's Operation Wolf for the SEGA Mastersystem and the Nintendo Entertainment System. Both games can be played with a light gun or with a controller. I am going to compare both versions of them. As you probably know, Operation Wolf is an arcade game originally. It had a cabinet with guns mounted on it. These were not light guns, but they were a form of analog joysticks. There were many different home conversions of this game. Some were very good, some were very arcade accurate, and others were, well, they were kind of crappy in comparison. That's understandable, since not all home systems were capable enough to play this game. Personally, I have played the DOS version and the Commodore 64 and the Nintendo and Sega versions. I am leaving the home computer ports out of the equation here. I'm purely comparing the two console versions. Things we're going to use are the Sega Light Phaser and the Nintendo Zapper, even though they can be played with a controller, and you need a controller to fire the grenade weapons. First we are going to compare the boxes. This is the box of the Sega version. Very typical for Sega, it comes in a hardcover box. I think it has some nice artwork on it. As you know, Sega Master System boxes usually have very simple artwork, but this one is of a slightly later generation. This is the artwork of the NES version. Artwork is, I guess, a bit better. Well, the story of the game, well, the game doesn't really have much of a story. At least it's not a story you should really take seriously. It's a very typical 1980s black and white kind of story, I suppose, and I feel it's a bit insulting to people from South America, because that's what the story is about. Nintendo had a way of censoring their games, especially when it came to this sort of issues. I think the story is a bit imperialistic. The NES version says, "The time has come for someone to teach the terrorists what terror is all about. The only way to stop them is to get in, strike hard and get out fast. Terrorists be warned, Operation Wolf is coming." This is only half the story. The manual mentions that there is some sort of coup in a South American country, and that some American people are captured from the embassy. It's very typical. And then we have the Sega Master System version, which is obviously less censored. And it says that there is here. And this one says, "A coup in Shigeru gave birth to the political leadership of the Communist Party. The new president of Shigeru has already sent the ex-president, who is pro-Crimean, and the Crimean embassy staff into a concentration camp. Now it's your turn to go on stage. You have just landed all alone on Shigeru, parachuting down into the country. Can you help the hostages escape unhurt from Shigeru?" Well, it's obviously a non-existing country, and I think it's very stereotypical. I think that people in South America are probably insulted by this story of the game. But anyway, the story doesn't really distract too much from it. I feel you can make any story of it that you want. These games usually had very shallow stories anyway. Well, this is the manual of the Sega version. I think it's a bit, well, it's very typical for a Sega Master System manual. Bit simplistic. There's less instructions in there than in the NES version. The NES version actually explains what everything is. So let's say we just have a look at the game. This is the Sega Master System version. The reflection at the bottom is caused by my table, which is covered in glass. I have to excuse for the poor quality of the video because I had to use a webcam pointed at my television screen. So the game starts off in the jungle, or sort of at a base camp, and you start shooting. That's basically what you do. You shoot enemies, choppers, other vehicles, but there's one thing you have to look out for. Don't shoot the nurses or any other innocent civilians. Unlike the Nintendo version, you cannot shoot the windows here. The best strategy to defeat the vehicles is to use the grenades. To fire the grenades, you have to press the button on the gamepad. So despite using the light gun, you still have to use the gamepad for that function.
Oops.
You can also blow up enemies by hitting the dynamite. Can be handy in some cases. As you can see, the graphics look quite nice for an 8-bit system, especially if you compare them against some home computer ports. And I'd say they've done a pretty good job in the graphics department. Obviously, this port was made by Taito themselves. So there we've used a grenade. If you pick up that P, if you shoot it, you get some extra energy, which is very important because you won't last long in this game. Also, if you run out of ammunition, you die. Well, this was the first stage, and now it's on to the jungle. Succeeded in demolition the communication center and cut off the enemy from rescue. No, that was a really nice cutscene. So the communication center is destroyed. Now we're on to the jungle. And in the jungle you have to watch out that you don't hit civilians. The vehicles here are a little different. Instead of helicopters, you now have boats. If you shoot the chickens, you get ammunition. And of course, if you shoot the pigs too. Actually, if you shoot the chicken, you get a grenade. And sometimes there are grenades just lying around. A very good strategy is to use your grenade when there are two vehicles simultaneously on the screen. This way you can maximize their usage. Well, I'm out of grenades, so now I have to shoot the boats with the machine gun. It is possible to destroy them this way, but it just takes a long time. we've got another grenade. And there's a stick of dynamite. You see how effective that was? Oh, yes, I'm almost totaled. As soon as you die, the screen becomes sort of red. Oh, I'm getting very critical now. And there you have it. Died. No ammunition left. Well, graphical cutscene looks pretty nice. So now we continue. And now we start the same level, but now with all the ammunition in place. So it should be a bit easier now. That was a boat. Come here, Porker. Those pigs are hard to hit. Ah, you see, that was a very effective use of the grenade there. Just blowing up 2 vehicles with 1 shot. Boom. 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 Ah, Porky, I want some ammo. Ooh, a stick of dynamite. Blast. Unfortunately, I'm out of grenades. Well, I feel like I am proceeding near the end of the stage. The flickering you see on the screen is caused by the light phaser. This also happens on a real Master System. This is not caused by the camera. This is also how I saw it on the television screen. Oops, that was a civilian, shouldn't have hit it. And that is the boss of the level holding a woman hostage. Unfortunately, I have died. So now we're going to take a look at the NES version. The music in the NES version is slightly better, but that's really just a nuisance because the NES has slightly better audio capabilities than the Master System, but the tunes are pretty much the same. Still, I think the Master System is graphically better. Cut off the enemy communications, don't let them call for help. Well, you see, graphically this is quite a step down. And you see that the zapper is less responsive. Also, using the grenade is a bit harder here. Unlike the Master System version, it's not just a matter of pushing the button on the gamepad. You have to push it simultaneously while pulling the trigger. That makes it much harder to pull it off. And did you notice that the zapper is a lot noisier than the light phaser? The trigger just makes a lot of noise and it's really heavy too. I think the light phaser is more comfortable. In this version you can also smash the windows by shooting them. Oh, it's a warning signal that I'm low on health. So there we start again. When I played this game a couple of years ago, I was able to proceed further though. I don't know, it's just some issue with the zapper I guess, or the brightness of the TV that's causing unresponsive hit detection. But if you compare the graphics of this version and the Master System, you can definitely see that the graphics on the NES are very coarse. Especially the ground looks very grainy. The Master System version really shines when it comes to the sprites and the use of color. The graphics are just more detailed than in this version. This version is just not as refined. Especially if you compare these cutscene pictures. The Master System version is more colorful. So that was the NES version. So there you have it. That was Operation Wolf on the SEGA Master System and the Nintendo Entertainment System. Personally, I found it to be an exhaustive experience, especially with the Nintendo Zapper. The Zapper is not very accurate in comparison to the light phaser. The light phaser is much more responsive in some ways. Another thing I like about the Master System version and that it is graphically the better port. It's a bit more authentic to the arcade, but not by much. Both versions are of course not accurate ports, but the Sega version does a slightly better job than the Nintendo version. I have to excuse you for the video quality. I had to capture this straight from my TV with a webcam, and the reflection is caused by my glass covered table. So I guess that was the end of the video, and I might see you guys next time.